Hi everybody, welcome to Now What with Britt and Shawn. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Britt. On our channel for grades K to 8, we learn new things and have some fun.
Yeah! And what are we going to learn today, Britt?
Today, we're going to celebrate Pride.
Pride? What's that?
Pride is a celebration of people who are part of the LGBTQ community. LGBTQ is an acronym that stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer. These words describe some of the different ways people can identify, including ways people love each other, as well as how they express their gender. The plus is because there are lots of other ways people can identify too. In June, the LGBTQ community, along with allies, or people who support the community, come together to celebrate love, diversity, and equality. It's called Pride because everyone should be proud of who they are and celebrate what makes them unique.
Wow, Pride sounds amazing. How do we celebrate?
There are lots of ways. You could support LGBTQ artists by watching movies, reading books, or listening to music by the LGBTQ community, or you could even celebrate with a Pride parade.
Did you just say parade?
Yes, I said parade.
Wow, this is incredible.
Pride parades happen in cities across the globe. The largest parade happens in New York City. As many as 2 million people go to the parade every year.
What's with all the rainbows?
The rainbow is a symbol of pride. The colors represent the diversity of the LGBTQ community. Each color has a special meaning. Red represents life. Orange represents healing. Yellow represents sunlight. Green represents nature. Blue represents harmony. And purple represents spirit. Whether you identify as part of the LGBTQ community or as an ally, you can raise a rainbow flag to show your pride.
I could stay here all day, but I have a great idea for an activity that we can do at home. Let's go back.
Okay.
While we were at the parade, I saw lots of people holding rainbow flags and signs that had positive messages on them. That gave me a great idea for what we can do to celebrate Pride.
What's that?
I'll show you. So today we're going to be making tape reveal art. And you're going to need the following. You're going to need a container with a little bit of water and either a rag or some paper towels. This will be for cleaning up your paintbrush. You're going to need some tempera paint, and they are the colors of the rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. And then we also have some white paint just in case you make a mistake and we need to do a little bit of touch-up. A paintbrush, a ruler, a pencil with an eraser, scissors, masking tape, toothpicks, and a piece of poster board. It doesn't matter which size. We chose 14 inches by about 20 inches. The reason why we're using poster board is because when you are using paint, if you use regular paper, it'll actually start to seep through and it'll make it all wavy when it dries. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write a word on our poster board. And now we're going to choose a word. You can choose any word you'd like. You can choose your name if you want to. You can choose a word that represents Pride Month for you, or a word that represents the LGBTQ community. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the word love, because I think we should love ourselves and feel free to love anyone we choose. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line on the bottom here. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to make sure that I know where my letters are going to start and finish. So I'm just going to draw a line across. So that way my letters kind of stay straight, because I don't know if you know this, but sometimes when I write, I end up writing, and as I write, my words start to curve. So writing this line is actually going to help us in putting our letters on our paper. So you're going to just outline now the letters that spell love. And the reason why we're using a pencil, if we do make a mistake, we can always erase that mistake. And the next step is we're going to take our masking tape and we are going to cover the letters with the tape. So I'm going to start on the L here. But if you notice, when I wrote my letter, I wrote my letters a little bit too far to the right, but that's okay. So I'm going to put the tape on the other side of the letter, so that way my word moves down a little bit. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we have our taped word, which is love. And before I start drawing the lines, I'm going to make sure I press down on the pieces of tape. I want to make sure that they're really stuck to the paper. And the reason being is when we start painting, if there is any gap, the paint might get through, and we don't want the paint where the tape is. So we want to make sure that it's nicely pressed down on the paper and there's no holes or gaps. Okay, so now I'm going to draw the lines of our flag. We know that we're going to be using 6 colors. We had already mentioned that we're going to be using red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. So if we know there's 6, and we know that our piece of paper is 14 inches long, we are going to divide. So we're going to take 14 and divide it by 6. That will give us 2.33, which is roughly about 2.35 or so. So we're going to measure that out, and we're going to put little notches on the side here, so that way we know that our lines are going to be similar in size. We don't want them to be, they don't have to be exact, but we want them to be similar, so that way when we draw the lines, it looks like a real flag. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side also. Now I'm going to draw lines across. And the reason why I'm doing this is I want to make sure that my line is somewhat straight. There we go. So now that we have our lines drawn, we now know where we can put the colors of our rainbow. So I'm going to take some tempera paint, and we're going to start with the first color, which is red. And we're going to paint this line entirely red. And now that we have a line here, we know that we're going to try and stay within that section. So now that we've finished painting our flag, we need to let it dry for about 30 minutes before we peel the tape off. If we peel the tape off and the paint is still wet, some of the paint will actually bleed into the word that we want to be blank. So now that we let our paint dry on our flag, it's time for us to take the tape off and reveal our word. So for that, I'm going to use a toothpick. The reason why I'm using a toothpick is it helps to get underneath the tape, because remember, we pressed really, really hard, so the tape is going to be really stuck. So we want to use something that's has a little bit of a point so we can get it up. Your nail might not work, so I'm using a toothpick. So now that we've taken our tape off, we actually did a really good job. And if you notice, there's not really any paint bleeding into the letters. If there was, we could always take some white paint and we could just, cut the lines here and make it a little bit neater if you wanted to, but I think this looks really, really good. Now there's one thing that I do want to do though, is we still have the pencil marks that we used when we were drawing our letters originally to place the tape. So I'm just going to go around and I'm just going to erase all of the pencil. So that way it doesn't even exist anymore. There we go. And there is our tape reveal art, and there's our word love.
I love your love sign, Shawn.
Thanks, I really enjoyed making it. Can I see what you made?
Sure. My sign says family. I chose this word because lots of people in my family are part of the LGBTQ community, and I wanted to show that I'm proud of them. I also chose this word because I wanted to celebrate all of the other LGBTQ families out there.
That's a really positive message.
Thanks.
Now what?
You can bring your sign to an in-person or virtual pride parade, hang it in your window, or post it on your front lawn for other people to see. Another important way to celebrate Pride is to learn more about what it means to be part of the LGBTQ community. Check out the resources in the video description below to learn more.
If you had fun with us today, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel so that way we can have more fun together. And now for next week's activity, drum roll please. Optical Art. See you next time.